Well, we have been warned, but Geoffrey, I'm going to give you a chance to come up in front of the judge.
The best way of refuting it is to say, I agree with everything you've said. And indeed, you can't regulate AI without having laws, and better laws than we've had in the past. You look at war crimes law, kids dug out of the rubble in Gaza. What sort of laws do we have? We have laws that have got wiggle room put there by basically Britain and America that can defend the killing of children and women and so forth by saying, oh, they're just lateral casualties, collateral damage, or they're just military advances. Military advantage is more important than actually killing innocent civilians. And that is the sort of wiggle room that our war law at present allows. War law allows you to use nuclear bombs. There's no law against it. So that is the task ahead for the communities of democratic governments, if you like. And I'm suggesting that they are actually larger than we like to think. 125 countries are members of the International Criminal Court, by and large, democratic countries. And because of the danger of AI, amongst others, particularly autonomous weapons systems, which have no human guidance and could end up deciding for themselves who to kill by bombing, drones that are masters of their own and our fate. These aspects, disinformation, the kind of disinformation that promotes so many right-wing populist movements, needs to be curbed, and in a democratic way. Joseph Goebbels always said that the amusing thing about democracy was that it provided for its own downfall.
Yes.
And he should know. But
I think we should stop the doom loop, Padoom, and we should move on to a topic where I hope that maybe we can appeal to the better nature, angels of our nature, and namely cultural diplomacy.
Yes.
A bit of cultural diplomacy, even among democracies, and the question of the Parthenon sculptures. We're not going to solve the democratic issue, but there are some very knotty problems that possibly, with goodwill, are prone to some sort of way forward.
Yep.
And the question, I think, that in the time that's left to us before everybody gets some food, is whether this is one such question, and we can explore a little bit the issues, but also where things stand in trying to find a way through them. So perhaps, Stephen, start with you on this one. How do you see things are moving, and might we actually get somewhere?
It's an interesting question. I've been interested in this issue. Well, I was given it. Some of you may have known of and remember the great journalist, a combative, polemical journalist, a contrarian, as he described himself, Christopher Hitchens, who died, 2011, so 14 years ago. And he left me, he was a friend of mine, he left me the issue of the Parthenon sculptures, in the sense that when he was dying, he said, I want you to lift the tattered flag of this campaign. He had discovered the extraordinary injustice of the apparent ownership of the Parthenon sculptures by the British Museum in London. He'd been educated in it by the great actress and politician from Athens, from Greece, Melina Mercouri, who told him all about it and said, you must fight to get the Parthenon sculptures back to Greece. And he did, and he wrote a wonderful book about it. And then, as I say, when he was dying, he asked me to carry on the fight. Well, I'm hardly alone in this. I'm a small voice in it, but I've done my best. And I think we are getting close. There is this belief that George Osborne, who's chair of the trustees of the British Museum, keeps expressing his willingness. And funnily enough, it rather, as I said, everything comes down to the word trust early on. This comes down to one word, an even shorter word, a four-letter word, and that's the word loan. The British Museum seems desperate to want to say that they have loaned the marbles, the sculptures, to Athens. And you in Greece have rightly said, no, they are ours. They belong to us. They were taken by a Scottish plunderer, a Scottish thief, who bribed the Ottoman Empire, which was occupying Greece. This is 220 years ago, and hacked them away, just literally with axes and swords and pickaxes, just hacked at these marbles, these unbelievably beautiful objects, and took them back to England. And England passed a law of Parliament to say, all right, they're ours now. But even at the time, people understood it was theft. And we believe the time is absolutely right to have them back. And many people, some in this room, the great John Lefas, a Greek philanthropist who's been wonderful in encouraging us all in this endeavor. And I think we are close. I think it just needs the British heads to be banged together.